Hi everybody, it's your buddy, it's your pal, Karnak, Star Wars Armada Explained. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be finally looking at a card that I've put off forever, Governor Pryce. Governor Pryce is an officer for the Empire. Why did I put off reviewing this card for so long, considering how long ago it came out? Well, the card just had a lot of timing things about what about this and this and that and that, and I didn't want to do a half-hour video of what ifs and maybes until we had an FAQ drop, which that came out in March, and it did clarify pretty much everything that I needed to be covered with that card. So that's why it took so long before I decided to do these videos, because again, I didn't want to do something and then have to redo it all over again. So we're going to be finally looking at Governor Pryce, and this is my second to last video covering upgrade cards. The next one being Bail Organa, and then that's everything. I'm getting to the end of the end here. And before I do launch right into the card, I do want to point out, if you haven't seen my recent video about the SSD giveaway that Admiral Tater's Ship Shop is doing, go watch that. You'll see how you'll be able to enter to win. And that does conclude on May 22nd. All right, Governor Pryce. Let's get into it. So Governor Pryce, as I mentioned before, is an Imperial officer. How do you know that? Look at the bottom left-hand corner of the card. You will see the officer upgrade icon. Opposite of that, you will see the faction-specific Empire symbol. Pryce costs 7 points. In front of Governor Pryce's name, you'll see a little dot or bullet point. Signifies that Governor Pryce is unique. You can only ever have one Pryce in your allied fleet or your fleet at a time. So let's launch in. For 7 points, this card has been absolutely devastatingly game-changing for the years it's been out. Why is that? I'll point out some things. But so the first part of Governor Pryce's card reads in italics there, medium or large ship only. What does this mean? She can only be equipped to a medium or large base ship, and that's it. No smalls, no huge ships. So the ships that Pryce can only be equipped to are either the Quasar Fire, Interdictor, the Victory class, the Onager, or the Imperial class Star Destroyer at any of their, ship card types. So those are the only ships Pryce can go on. Again, no small ships and no SSD. That would be ridiculous if she could go on the SSD. Okay, her card reads, after deploying fleets, you may place one round token on this card. If you do, during the round matching that round token, you must activate at the end of the ship phase after all other ships have activated. Essentially, in a nutshell, what this means is that this ship will always go last. Period. End of story. There's the only other way that a ship could otherwise not go last is if your opponent also has Governor Pryce set to the same round, in which case first player has to resolve their timing first, then second player. So in a Pryce on Pryce head-to-head matchup, first player Pryce still has to go before the second player's Pryce, in that order. Okay, so to break down some of the timing, so again, the timing for the card, as it says, you can only equip it to a large and medium ship, so we're going to say that Pryce is on the this Imperial class Star Destroyer here. And so the timing of this card, as it says, is after deploying fleets. So, this is after you've put down obstacles and you've put down all of your ships or squadrons. We'll do something like that. We'll say, again, Pryce is equipped to this ISD. So after all ships and squadrons are deployed and in the after deployment fleet timing window, you as first player say, okay, I'm setting Governor Pryce for round 2, let's say. And again, if both players have Pryce, the first player has to declare first what timing round that he's doing, followed then by the second player in his timing window, which again, first player always resolves everything first, then followed by second player. So, and then that is the timing window there for that. So what happens, for example, maybe you're playing Hyperspace Assault and you have like a Quasar Fire and Hyperspace Assault equipped with Governor Pryce. As we'll read in the FAQ in just a moment, if Pryce is set aside and not currently on play for this timing window, you do not get to utilize this card ability or effect at all. So make sure the ship is actually physically on the table to resolve the timing window. If it is not, you're not able to resolve the timing of that card, and you wasted 7 points for no effect. So let's see here. Let's check the CARM real quick. Make sure I'm covering what I need to in order. So again, can we equip the large and medium ships? It's only after deploying fleets. All of the ships must activate before Governor Pryce, even if other card effects otherwise state that they could not activate. We'll get in that in 1 second. If the ship Governor Pryce is currently equipped to has been set aside due to another card or objective ability, such as Hyperspace Assault, as I mentioned, you cannot resolve Pryce's ability. If Governor Pryce's effect is discarded and no longer active in the game, then the card also does not resolve. And this was like the huge hesitation just because of some other precedents FFG had set. Still says that some cards still do resolve, like for example, Thrawn and Fleet Commands. And then there's other effects where they don't. So there was a lot of confusion about if this card still did resolve or not, if it had been discarded. And FFG finally released an FAQ that says if it's discarded, the effect no longer works. So let's read the FAQ for Governor Pryce. You cannot resolve this card's effect to assign a round token to this card if the ship this card is equipped to is set aside. We covered that. During the ship phase of the round matching the round token on this card, if this ship is your only unactivated ship, all enemy ships must activate before this ship activates, even if a card effect would otherwise prevent them from activating, such as Admiral Radis, and I'll touch on that in a moment. During the round phase of the round matching the round token on this card, if both players' fleets include a ship with this card equipped and the same round token is placed on both, the first player's ship with this card equipped activates before the second player's ship with this card equipped. We've covered that. If this card is discarded by an effect such as Darth Vader, it is no longer active in the game, meaning it would no longer resolve in the appropriate timing for Pryce's ability. Okay, so what does it mean by the Darth Vader ability? So there's a card in the game. We've got not only Darth Vader, the boarding trooper, who can eliminate officers, but we also have Darth Vader, the officer, who can choke out other Imperial officers. So, for example, if you have Pryce on this ISD, and you're like, oh man, I really need a reroll, and you choke out Pryce before you've reached the round where that token would resolve, then you would not be able to have that ability because Pryce is gone. You've discarded Pryce. Same deal if an enemy ship was to fly up with Boarding Vader, and Boarding Vader rips Pryce off the ship that's not the round on otherwise that would resolve in, then that ability is no longer in effect. So again, as long as Pryce can reach the round that the round token you've set for, then that card will resolve completely. But if Pryce is removed at any other point before you've reached that round, the card effect is gone. You no longer get the benefit of Pryce. And what was it meaning by Admiral Radis? Because typically with Admiral Radis, for example, we'll say he's on the CR-90 here. When he deploys a ship from hyperspace, that ship that's deployed by Radis's ability cannot activate first. Or rather, it cannot be the first ship to activate first that round. But if you, as Pryce, the only ship that you have, period, is the Pryce ship, and you have nothing else to activate, Pryce trumps Radis. The Radis ship, if somehow that's the only other ship on the table, there is no universe explodes time paradox. The Radis ship absolutely has to activate first. Now, if the Radis player has other ships that can activate first, he can choose one of them. It's just in a case of if that's the only ship left and that's the only other ship left, the Empire ship, the Radis has to go first. That's just to avoid any conundrum of, what happens to the game. So that is Governor Pryce in a nutshell. Why is this card so incredibly powerful for the Empire? A lot of players, you might have heard of two ship, where essentially you just cram pack that activation to be so incredibly powerful that you just can wipe your opponents off the board in essentially two activations. What you will see is that somebody will do a huge bid for first player, like, a 30-point bid, and they'll have Pryce equipped to the ISD. So, they might be, so the first player, so they will set a round where they go last after your opponent has done everything else. Now your opponent is closer to you. Okay, so you go last, you shoot, you POW. Typically it's with heavy squadrons. Okay, but now since you're first player, so you've guaranteed last activation with Pryce. Doesn't matter how many other activations your opponent has. Okay, but now it's the start of a new round and you're first player, and so then you reactivate your Star Destroyer and you just blow crap out of the water that's in front of you. That's just extremely powerful. Now, since that concept has been introduced, you understand the gimmick now. Most players do, and there's ways and methods to get around it. But you still have to be very careful because it's still incredibly powerful, not only for Star Destroyers. You'll see Pryce on Quasar Fires because they're cheap. They toss out a ton of squadrons. They hurt really, really bad. You'll probably even start seeing Pryce more on Onagers just to have that guaranteed long range maximum pew blast. And then again with first player, start the next round and pew blast all over again. So Pryce is just incredibly powerful for her cost, and I would even say a little bit more than a little game breaking. I mean, I personally extremely try to avoid taking Pryce whenever possible, just because I hate playing against it and I hate playing with it. I just feel like it twists what the true nature of the game of Armada is, and I hate this kind of like min-max strategy of, well, do you want to win? Then take this card because there's nothing your opponents can do to beat it unless they have a really well thought out game plan. But yeah, I really do hope that at some point in the future Pryce gets reworked. I really do. Same thing with Bale's not as bad, and I'll touch that on the Bale video, but Pryce is just hashtag the worst. All right, so that's Governor Pryce. There's no other crazy things going on there. Nothing else I feel like I need to cover. I'm just gonna glance through this real quick. Nope. So Pryce after the FAQ, very simple, very straightforward. Of course, if you feel like I missed anything or got anything wrong, please be sure to point it out. Let me know. I'm happy to answer your questions. And as always, I'll catch you guys next time.